The Canucks recall a prospect from Abbotsford, and there's 12 teams interested in this pending free agent superstar out of the KHL, and the Canucks have to be in on him. I'll get into that later on this episode, but before I start, I just wanted to say to the 98% of you guys that aren't subscribed, if you're enjoying this content from the Canucks with everything from prospect breakdowns, game recaps, rumors, trades, anything you can think of, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button because we'll be here all season long. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is Canucks recall Jett Woo. Now, the Canucks did place Carson Soucy on IR, and then they did recall Jett Woo from Abbotsford. Taking Soucy and placing him on IR was not something of looking saying, hey, his injury is worse than we expected. He did deal with an injury after blocking a shot with his hand that Mitch Marner did shoot. But this is more of a thing like we're going to put him transactionally on IR so we can recall a guy like Jett Woo. Now, when you do look at Jett Woo, he's 23 years old. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds. He's a right-handed shot, right-handed D. He was a former second round pick by the Canucks, 37th overall in the 2018 draft, and he's never found his footing since entering into the league. The big thing with him is injuries. As you can see with the Utah Comets, in 28 games, he had 5 points. In 42 games, he had 8 points, 68 games, 21 points. But just this season, in 42 games, he does have 16 points. Jett is starting to find his footing. The big thing with this is the Canucks did sign him to a one-year contract. He did come off his rookie deal, but now he's currently on a one-year contract just under $900K. I think this was more of a thing of the Canucks signing him, saying, hey, listen, we want to give you a chance. We want you to work. Prove to us that this season you can turn things around, and so far he has done that, and he's got the honors of being recalled and possibly playing in his first NHL regular season game. Now, when you do look at Jett Woo, he said, I try to make goals that I know I can make and goals that are pretty far out there. This is what he did say to the post media after skating with his teammates at the University of BC ahead of the beginning of the Canucks NHL training camp. He does continue on to say, I know I'm someone that strives towards things like that, and I think if I make some high goals, that puts me in a good spot. I've got to be smart, move pucks, be simple, and play hard. Even though I got some points last year, the staple of my game is playing hard D and being someone they can rely on in most situations. As I said, Jett has dealt with injuries throughout his career. He's finally having a healthy season, and so far on Abbotsford, with the new coaching staff, he has looked quite good. As I said, he is getting recalled. We might see him come into the lineup. With Soucy on IR, we see Zadorov being suspended. If you're watching this Monday, Tuesday's game where Jett might make his debut is the last game for Zadorov before he comes back. Friedman did look good in his limited time with the Canucks so far, so maybe getting a guy like Jett Woo in, it's just more of a, hey, prove that you can make this lineup, prove that we can use you, prove that you are worth something to us, and if not, I could see him dangled around in trade talks, maybe for a new piece this season, maybe next season. It's going to be interesting. I think this is quite a big game for a guy like Jett Woo, and it's more big than a lot of people are expecting. So what's your thoughts? Do you think Jett Woo deserves his chance to finally make it to the NHL and get a regular season game? Do you think he's better off just having up just in case of an injury? Or do you think you should just use him as a trade piece, keep building for this year, and ultimately win a Stanley Cup? But let's hop straight into the second topic today, which is Canucks in on KHL STAR. Now, with this, it's going to say Toronto Maple Leafs a couple times. This was wrote by a Leafs reporter, but it was an interview with his agent. So there's 12 teams interested in signing Russian forward Tsyplakov. Sorry if I'm saying this wrong. His agent said to The Athletic. When you do look at this as a whole, he is 25 years old in the final year of his KHL contract and enjoying a breakout season for Moscow with 30 goals, 15 assists in 58 games. He's tallied 10 goals and 15 assists in 63 games the year prior. So as you can see from this, that he really has taken strides in his games. Just last season, having 15 goals, he has jumped all the way up to 33. His shooting percentage is quite high this season, but you don't really fluke into a 33-goal season or a 30-goal season. The 6'3", 190-pound forward has primarily played wing in the KHL, though the possibility of playing center was discussed during a Zoom call with the senior members of the Leaf management. As I said, that it will say that a tiny bit, but this is more directed to Vancouver. So this is a big guy. He can score goals, as you can see. He can put up points. He can lay hits. And just overall, his game has looked outstanding in the KHL. And there's a lot of interest coming from the NHL once the season does conclude. Right now, Moscow's season or regular season will end at the end of February, so this signing would be more of into the off season, but he's going to be a player to keep an eye on, as a lot of teams will gain traction on this, and a lot of teams are going to be in on a bidding war. And when you see this, it's intriguing for the team because of his frame and scoring ability. His size for driving to the net and getting into difficult areas of the ice could use his power and a chance to translate into the NHL. From one of the Athletics prospect gurus, Scott Wheeler, he said he's big, strong, athletic kid, holds a puck well, strong skater, good snapshot, wrist shot, likes to curl and drag, likes to shoot it, straight line type, direct, attacks into defenders for a shot, engaged physically, what you see is what you get, not a layers problem solver type. So with this, as I said, he's a big body, he can score, he knows how to play in the KHL. From here you can see, just last season, he had 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points in 63 games. But right now, for 60 games with Moscow, he does 31 goals, 16 assists for 47 points. And it's kind of looked under, yes, this is the KHL, this is not the NHL. Obviously, you can't really compare this to an Austin Matthews type or a Nathan McKinnon, anything like this. But there is a lot of comparables to a lot of star players from the KHL that are currently in the NHL. You look at this here, this is Kirill Kaprizov. This was his age 22 season in 2019-20, so he is a little younger at this current moment. But when you do look at it, 33 goals, 29 assists for 62 points, and this is a guy that's just 5'11", 202 pounds, so he's a lot of a smaller frame, and there's a nice comparable of this goal totals. As I said with Kaprizov, having his 33 goals in his last season before making it to the NHL. And then you look at a guy that's currently being scouted to come to the NHL, and he currently is on pace to have over 31 goals. Now, there's another name that a lot of people are going to know, a lot of Canucks fans definitely know, and this was Kuzmenko's season before coming to the NHL. With St. Petersburg, you can see that in 45 games, he had 20 goals, 33 assists for 53 points. And this is another sense of this is a guy that came into the NHL. In 81 games, he put up 39 goals, 35 assists for 74 points. We've seen Kaprizov come in and absolute dominate once he did make it to the NHL. So seeing this guy being compared to guys like Kuzmenko, Kirill Kaprizov, I think there's a real good chance that we can see him come into the year, look outstanding, and just dominate out of the gates. I believe right now you can sign him going into the offseason on a one-year deal under $1 million for an entry-level contract. So I think there's a lot of teams, and with the 12 teams interested, I could really see the Canucks being one, as they have had a history. They got a guy like Kuzmenko. We're seeing so many Russian players join this organization. Obviously, Kuzmenko was dealt, but Zadorov is currently here, and there's a lot of guys to tie in another KHL free agent star coming over. So what you guys thought? Like I said, do you think Jett Woo deserves his chance? Do you use this as a time to kind of dangle around and use him as trade bait? And do you think the Canucks really need to start actively pursuing more guys out of the KHL? But that'd be it for this episode of Canucks Digest. As I said, go down, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends because we love to see everyone's comments, just questions, anything down there. But with that, take care.